A lot of people are familiar with the West Edmonton Mall. Though it is no longer the largest mall like when it opened, it is home to many attractions including an aquarium, a water park, and Galaxyland. This is their indoor amusement park, is home to 4 roller coasters, tons of rides, and let me just say, this place is pretty cool. As of when this video is being made, it is the largest indoor amusement park that I personally have been to, and I had a great time here. I really was impressed walking away. So this is going to be my full in-depth review about everything you need to know about the park, so that if you decide you're going to go out to Canada, visit this place, you know what to expect. So I mentioned the park is home to 4 roller coasters. Those are Auto Sled, Dragon Wagon, Galaxy Orbiter, and most importantly, Mindbender. This is their massive Schwarzkopf looping coaster. It's probably the main reason you're going to want to go to this park. It is a very intense ride. I've done a whole review on it, so be sure to go check that out. I'm going to go really in depth about it in that video, but I'm not going to really discuss it in this video just because I've already done that separate video. So let's focus on the park. My main takeaway with this place was just how impressive it is they have managed to fit in so many attractions in this park, because the main issue they have to deal with is land. They don't have a lot of space to work with. They can't exactly just expand. There's walls on all sides. So how do they do it? They get creative. They fit in a lot of different attractions here, and it's a really nice variety. And so one of the things you might be thinking is, okay, so they have so many rides, including 4 roller coasters. When you don't have a lot of room to work with, and you're fitting in all this stuff, it probably means that the actual ride experiences aren't going to be that long. It probably means a lot of different experiences, but each one doesn't last that long. And that is where you are wrong, because each of these rides give really long ride experiences. And that's what I thought was so crazy. Each of the roller coasters are quite long. Mindbender, over 4,000 feet long. Auto Sled, 1,000 feet long. Galaxy Orbiter, 1,400 feet long, features more than one lift hill. And even their other attractions besides the roller coasters, they made sure that they give long ride experiences. So that's one thing I really did like about this place. So let's talk about what it's going to be like to go visit this place, because there are multiple entrances to this park. There's one that's outside, there's 2 that are inside. Most likely you're going to be coming from one of the inside entrances, but there is an outside entrance underneath Mindbender. So I did like that there are multiple areas where you can come and go, and so naturally anyone can enter this park. All you do is walk in. You can pay per ride, or you can get a wristband. So there's obviously pros and cons with doing this system, but there are plenty of amusement parks that do this kind of thing. Obviously the main advantage here is if you're with your family, they want to go shopping, you want to go ride rides, they can enter the amusement park without paying a fee to come meet up with you. So it's smart that they chose to go with that system for this park. So while we were there, we got wristbands. All of the ride-ups will scan your wristband before you get on the attraction, and it worked for every ride in the park if I remember correctly. The only one we were not able to get on is Dragon Wagon, because unfortunately they have a height limit. You cannot ride it unless you are below that height, and we exceeded it, so we did not get on it. But we rode a lot of the other main attractions here. That includes their cute little train, their drop tower. That's the tallest indoor drop tower in North America. We also did Havoc. That's their latest attraction. This ride is insane. It's like a Huss claw ride, but they have multiple axes of rotation with this attraction. It sort of feels like an ABC tourbillon, but this was a lot more insane. I know a lot of people haven't been very impressed with those attractions. This is what they should have gotten. If there was a downside, the theme for it didn't really match the rest of the park. It's themed to like little green army men and like Toy Story. I don't know exactly. So I thought that was a little strange that the park has this kind of tacky, cute little space theme, and then there's this ride, so I didn't really know what was going on there. But as for the theme of the park, it is obviously tacky, but it's kind of in a charming way. Like, I didn't think that the park was ugly or anything. Everything was very clean, and they presented everything in a nice manner. So it's definitely an interesting choice of theme, but I think it works here. Now, if there is the downside with this park, I will say the operations were pretty slow. Every single ride here has more than one restraint. I kind of got the vibe that they're overly cautious here. And I know Mindbender obviously has a reason for why it has multiple restraints because of an unfortunate incident that happened a while back, but you could definitely feel that they were very concerned about safety. They wanted to make sure everything was going to be fine. But unfortunately, it really did slow down in the operations here. Now, some attractions they have that you might not be too familiar with. They have a shooting dark ride. And this is really what I was talking about when I was talking about how all of the rides give long experiences. This dark ride, in terms of space, is very small, but because of the way the vehicle turns, it moves really slow, so it makes it a long ride. So I thought that was really smart of them to do that. They also have this really cool ropes course. You can see all of the various attractions from there. It's actually pretty challenging. Don't think that this is just for kids. I'm in my 20s and I did it and I thought it was awesome. If there is anything to note when you do that ride, the further from the ground you get, the hotter it feels in that building. So we didn't want to stay up there for very long because it started getting hot, but that was still a very neat attraction. One of the things that I had no idea about before I even visited the park is they have a haunted walkthrough, and you have to be 16 or older to go through it. I thought that was super interesting. There's no scare actors in there, but there are actually a few pretty good scares, especially for a maze that doesn't have any actors in it. They did a pretty good job. If you're under 16 and you're kind of bummed that you can't go through that, don't worry, there is also a fun house right next to it. There's two different doors. One goes through the haunted walkthrough, the other goes to the funhouse, and anyone can go through that funhouse. And it's pretty okay. I thought it was fine. I thought the haunted walkthrough was pretty enjoyable though, considering what they had to work with. So to just kind of wrap up this Galaxyland review, I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to visit this place. It's super unique. It's got a pretty interesting history. I enjoy indoor amusement parks just because they give off a completely different vibe than a park outdoors, and especially when you're in Edmonton, Canada, and it gets really cold. This way you can visit a park 365 days a year, ride a roller coaster whenever you want. And I think that's awesome. When we went to Galaxyland, it was January and it was snowing. Tons of snow on the ground, but we still got to ride roller coasters, and that's what was great. If there is an unfortunate downside, Edmonton, Canada is kind of far out there, and because there's no other amusement parks nearby, unfortunately, if you want to visit this place, you pretty much have to make a dedicated trip to go there. So I'm definitely glad I went, but unfortunately, I don't see myself going back maybe ever. I saw visiting Galaxyland as a one-time thing. I'm going to go here, experience all the attractions, really enjoy myself, but just because it's so far out there, I'm not sure I'll be returning. And that's just kind of the reality of the situation. I think it's great for the people of Edmonton. I think it's a nice way to bring in tourists, but unless you live in the area, I don't really think that this park relies on repeat visitors. But that's just kind of the vibe I got from it. So I won't say whether I recommend the park or not. I think really what it just comes down to is how much you're willing to spend to go visit this place. If you are a huge Schwarzkopf fan, I think you definitely need to put this place on your to-do list. But if you're not really a big fan of crazy intense rides, or maybe this park just seems like it's not really the place for you, then yeah, I'd say go somewhere else. But I personally had a good time. I enjoyed visiting the park and seeing the rest of the mall. But that is just my takeaway from visiting Galaxyland at the West Edmonton Mall in Edmonton, Canada. Let me know down in the comments below if you've been here, if you agree with the things I've said, if this place is somewhere that you'd like to visit at some point. I hope you found this video helpful, but be sure to post all that down below and stay tuned for more here at Coaster Studios, and I'll see you guys next time.